Over the past couple of years, the Skyrim community shaders has seen some huge improvements, introduced several game-changing features, and overall has had a brilliant increase in quality that will transform your Skyrim experience. Speaking of quality and how visually iconic Skyrim is today, I want to talk about Project Orochi, who have sponsored this video and are a streetwear brand that reimagines your favorite titles, including Elden Ring, Sekiro, and of course Skyrim. These designs are made by players for players, and every piece feels like a reimagined tribute to the games we all know and love, rather than just merch with a logo slapped on. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you may have noticed that I very rarely do any sponsors, but when Orochi reached out, I genuinely liked what they were doing, and their designs are what I would actually wear in the real world. Their latest collection features titles such as Cyberpunk, Dark Souls, and my personal favorite, this Elden Ring themed Lucaria Academy polo. I love the simple design and how most people won't even realize it's actually from a video game. They've also got a great Discord community where you can get involved and help influence which titles and designs come next. So if you want to check them out, they've got free US shipping and you can use the code SOFT for 10% off any purchases you make. Just use my link below in the description. Okay, now back to community shaders, and if you're unsure what they actually are a community-driven visual overhaul for Skyrim that seeks to modernize and implement new features into the game that is both open source and has an ever-growing list of improvements and graphic modifications. The current release of community shaders includes many features that you would expect and have been there for many years, including parallax, which adds the 3D effect to many objects and surfaces so they gain depth and appear much more realistic. Dynamic cube maps, so reflections will reflect the actual surrounding environment instead of just being a static image. Grass lighting, so your grass will react to the direction of light, as well as grass collision, which makes your grass react to the movement of your characters as you walk or run through it. And of course, many more. There have also been a collection of new features that have been released more recently. Some highlights include hair specular, which replaces hair shading so it looks a lot more glossy with highlights as well as flow maps, so your game knows the flow of each strand of hair for a significantly better overall look of in-game hair. The light limit fix, which removes the limit on the number of lights you can see in game, so you won't get that annoying flickering anymore, as well as adding support for particle lights and more advanced shadows. Skylighting is another feature which simulates world space ambient occlusion and creates a more realistic shadowing effect under structures or dense forest, enhancing contrast and realism in areas which don't have any direct lighting. Another new feature is the addition of PBR or physical based rendering, which allows different textures to react more accurately to certain lighting conditions. This means materials such as metal or wood will look different depending on the time of day and will include things such as roughness or a metallic shininess. A simple example is for metal armors, which will now reflect and appear much more metal-like. To get this working properly, however, you will need PBR compatible textures and need to run Parallax Gen as well, which may be a little daunting for beginners, but just know that this is totally optional if you don't want to do it. And probably the best feature of community shaders is the in-game UI, which lets you adjust the settings or enable and disable each feature as you want. For example, I can turn the parallax effect and parallax shadows on and off as I please. There are a ton of different options you can select, and each component has its own tab in a very intuitive design. You can also select and adjust the weather, as well as change the direction of sunlight when hitting different objects. Overall, this is fantastic and allows you the player to completely change how you want it to be and select the features you want and don't want with just the click of a button. In terms of performance, Probably the most apt comparison is with AMD, and for me I was only getting a handful of extra FPS when using community shaders, but this was with all the features enabled. You can easily disable or remove certain features to increase your performance and overall FPS. This kind of modular approach to how it works is great in that respect. There are also two built-in features to help with performance. First is frame generation, which will allow you to generate extra frames between existing ones to increase your sort of perceived frame rate, resulting in your game feeling a lot smoother with reduced stuttering. Now this will vary depending on your hardware and what frames you are already getting in game, but you can also easily switch this on and off in the in-game UI. The other performance feature is called Upscaling, which will let you reduce the resolution of your game and then upscale it, providing a massive boost in performance. There are varying levels that you can upscale your game to, but the lower resolution you set it to, the worse your game will look. In my experience, using the quality preset implements a very nice balance between good visuals and good performance. Now you might be asking yourself, what does the future hold for the community shaders? Well, on their Discord, they have experimental builds you can test, and one of these builds includes a feature called post-processing, which brings many new effects and visual filters that can be applied to your game after the fact. Now this will greatly increase the visual quality of your game, and in my opinion, brings it much more in line with what AMD can offer. Post-processing also adds a slew of new customization options where you can edit things such as the saturation, lighting, contrast, and much more. These options allow you to essentially transform Skyrim into whatever you want it to be, whether that be a bright colourful fantasy or a dark somber world. Of course, if you don't want to spend your time tweaking and adjusting each setting yourself, it's possible for people to create a kind of preset that can then be shared with the community for others to use. Again, very similar to AMD and how there are many different types of AMD presets out there. Right now, in fact, I am testing the Dizio post-processing settings with a few tweaks of my own. Altogether, this shows the super exciting potential of community shaders and what it could become in the future. If you look back just a year ago, you can see the massive growth that has occurred with each new feature, and it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. I'm also curious to know if you have tried community shaders already, or are you excited to give it a go in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. I've also put all the links to the related mods of this video down below as well. Otherwise, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again soon. Happy modding everyone!